Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this Wednesday, and welcome to this educational presentation where today I want to talk to you about a perfect way to trade breakouts. I would venture to say that the majority of you have tried or are currently trading a breakout method at this time, but most likely you're not getting the type of results you were promised or you'd like to see. And I think it's because there's a standard fault in trading breakouts. Let me share with you, though, the standard definition of what a breakout is. Now, breakout definition means that a breakout refers to when the price of an asset moves above a resistance area. Now, conversely, a breakdown refers to when the price of an asset moves below a support area. So you see, there's a common denominator here, something involved in both of these scenarios, and that's support and resistance. So the main common denominator with breakouts and breakdowns is that they're based on price either breaking out above resistance or breaking down below support. Now, this is where I think most techniques fail, because it shouldn't really be relying on this, because there's not a lot of consistency when you rely on support, so-called support, and so-called resistance. Why? Because they're very subjective. Let me show you what I mean here. Here's an older chart as we look at Lulu, okay? Now, let's say you wanted to buy this stock and you're a breakout trader. Now, obviously, you would say, well, there stands to be some type of resistance right here. We've had 1, 2, 3 times we haven't broken through. So I'll buy when we break out and close above this so-called resistance, okay? So you're excited, you're waiting for it. It seems to be going in your direction. And then you wake up one day and find out that some news came out or some event happened and the stock has gapped up tremendously. In fact, you say to yourself, well, I can't buy now because this is where I was thinking of selling. If I had purchased somewhere around here, I would most likely be getting out around this level. So you do the thing that most traders do. You want to get back at the trade for having missed it. So you say to yourself, okay, it's way too high. It's so overbought right now. This is where I would have been selling. So I'll go short. I'll sell it right here. And when it gets a little bit lower, say down here, I'll cover it and go long again. All right, so you sell and then this happens, right? Look familiar, right? Or how about this example? Here's an older example in mRNA, Moderna. Let's say you're long this stock, and as you can see, it's been going lower and lower and lower. You say to yourself, wow, I'm really taking a big hit here. And you begin to double and triple down, and it doesn't seem to want to bottom out. But slowly but surely, it does start to go back up. So you feel good about yourself. You're not in a profit zone yet, but at least you're making back some of your losses. And you say to yourself, you know what? There must be some type of support right here. If it happens to go lower, and I don't think it's going to, but if it does, this is where I'll get out, because most likely it's going to really fall out of bed. So lo and behold, the stock does fall out of bed. So you sell. You get out with a pretty big loss. But look what happens. Weeks to follow, it's actually up higher than where you sold it. So this is the difficulty with trading off of support and resistance, because they're too subjective, and there just isn't a lot of subjectivity when you use them for breakout and breakdown trades. So you ask yourself, is there a breakout indicator designed to identify these true breakout and breakdown areas? Well, yes, there is. I've developed with pro trader strategies, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. For example, we look at this older chart in ILMN, okay? What this new tool does is actually identifies right here where the breakdown sell area would have been, and look what happened to the stock. And right at the very bottoms, it identified where the breakout buy area was. So this is what we're going to be discussing, a perfect way to trade breakouts. The good news is there's nothing you have to calculate. There's no support and resistance involved. There's no moving average crossovers or anything like that involved. Everything is done for you. It's auto-generated on the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform I developed and designed with pro trader strategies that auto-identifies these secret breakout areas. So this promises to be a great educational presentation today. Thank you for joining us once again. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading now for 47 years. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange, where I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist, as we see right here. That's where we got the name Specialist Trading. A specialist, if you're not familiar with what a specialist does, it doesn't mean you're any more special than anyone else. It simply means that in the old days, if you wanted to buy or sell a particular stock, the floor trader took your order over the phone and walked up to the trader who specialized in making a market. Specialists were assigned roughly 50 or 60 stocks that only they made markets in. So if you wanted to buy or sell a stock, you had to go to a trader who specialized in that particular stock. So I did that for roughly 9 years. I made markets in waste management, US Air, IBM. I traded through the crash and made markets during the crash of '87 and the bull market that followed. So in my 47 years of trading, I've seen and traded just about every technique, every strategy, every system you can think of. I've seen straight up markets, straight down markets, sideways markets. So in my nearly 5 decades of trading, I know what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't work. So that's why I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies about 15 years ago and formulated Specialist Trading, where all we are is an educational company with our goal is simply to educate traders so that you can make your own trading decisions. And we educate you with all the things I've accumulated that have high levels of consistency. And you'll see that in today's educational presentation. Now, before we begin, we are required to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using this breakout tool, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since we are first and foremost an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, a lot of people are always asking me, Steve, how can I get more education? Well, this is a great way. Simply follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it. Every day I post upwards of 5 or 6 different snapshots of signals that our methods have currently generated or little bits of financial wisdom. It's lots of great free education on a daily basis. So please feel free to follow us on Twitter or X. There's our handle right there. You may want to copy that down. Remember, we are a little bit different from other webinars you may have attended. I see a lot of old names and faces here today attending, but I also see a lot of new ones. If you're here today thinking that, well, this is like the other webinars I go to, where the guy's going to tell me what he thinks the market's going to do. Is it going to keep going up? Is it going straight down? Or is it going nowhere? Or he's going to tell me what the best stock is to buy or what stock I should sell. You've come to the wrong place, because that's not what we do. You see, a good educator does not do that. A good educator or mentor teaches you how to trade, doesn't trade for you. So that's our goal, simply to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge. This is the same edge that was taught to me when I was struggling, when I first started trading on the floor some 47 years ago, and what has sustained me now for that amount of time, and hopefully it will be able to do the same for you. Now, a few announcements before we begin. Please, if you have any questions, we have a pretty large crowd here today. If you have any questions, please wait till the very end. I promise I'll answer all of them. I have a lot of slides to share with you, and I don't want to stop at every slide. We may be here far too long on your Wednesday. I don't want to take up all your day. So if you have a question, please write it down and try to remember it. I promise I'll get to it at the end. Also, this is being recorded. So guess what? Each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording, so you can watch this at your own leisure over and over again, okay? All right, with that stated then, let's begin today's educational presentation. And remember, we're going to start out with that question we asked earlier. What if there was an indicator, a breakout indicator, designed to identify these true breakout and breakdown areas? Well, we feel that there finally is. And this is our fairly new tool called the PSBI. It stands for the Primo Secret Breakout Indicator. Now, let me share with you some of the highlights of this pretty recent or fairly recent tool. Firstly, it's based on the everyone out of the pool concept. Now, I talked about this in my book, Secrets of a Stock Exchange Specialist, where basically, if something is going to break out, it's because all of the sellers are out of the pool. They're not in the market anymore in that particular equity. And if something is going to break down, it's basically not support and resistance or some moving average crossover. It's because all of the buyers are out. So that's what the PSBI is based off of, knowing when the sellers and the buyers are out of the pool. Now, it's designed to identify these true breakout areas. That's the only thing it does. It identifies where these breakouts are. So if it doesn't deem that the sellers are out of the pool or the buyers are out, then there will be no breakout area displayed. But oftentimes you will see where one is being identified. Now, it's a proprietary indicator, as I stated, but that's good news because we've taken all the hard work out of it for you. You would have to stay in front of your computer probably a good portion of the day trying to figure out this proprietary indicator. And by that time, you most likely would have missed the breakout or breakdown. So we've taken all the hard work out of it for you and developed these color bar areas. Now, you can apply the PSBI to virtually any market in any direction. I can't believe sometimes I go to webinars myself and I'll see a so-called educator talking about a brand new indicator they have, which is fantastic. It works great on Apple, and they'll show a bunch of examples on Apple, and they say, well, if you want to trade it on other stocks or other markets, you have to purchase another design of this particular tool because they have to alter it and edit it to fit these other markets. I think that's silly. If you have a method or an indicator or a strategy that's well and good enough for one market, it should be able to transfer onto any market and in any time frame. And that's what the PSBI does. Now, it can also be used as an exit or a stop and reverse. That means we know a lot of traders like to buy on breakouts, but they're not that interested in selling short or applying this to breakdowns. Well, one of the best things about this tool is if you are particularly long and you have a nice profit and you're wondering where to get out, you can apply this as an exit. So if the stock is going higher, and you'll see that in a lot of examples, you can apply the PSBI to see if there's a breakdown coming, and it will identify if one is available. Also, you can use it as stop and reverse. You can simply use these to buy and to sell whenever these breakout and breakdown areas appear. And then lastly, the best thing about the PSBI is that you can actually scan on a nightly basis for these setups. Whether you're scanning the currency pairs, crypto, or you're scanning futures or even the S&P 500, it will identify where all these newly developed setups are occurring. All right, so let me share with you how simple this PSBI trading process is. Okay, let's go through those older charts we looked at, and then we'll look at a lot of more fairly recent ones. Remember, we had said that there was resistance right here, but this is what happens so many times because everyone in the world is banking on this resistance, and then you miss it, right? Well, how could the PSBI have helped us? Remember, we wanted to be a buyer of this, but we were only willing to buy it once it broke out above this, conventional way of looking at a breakout. But here's how to apply the PSBI. On our platform, simply look for the PSBI green strategy tab, which is right here, and click it on. And since you're a buyer, in the drop-down menu, click on Buy Area because that's what you're interested in. And if there is a buy area that is being generated, you will see it with this green color block, okay? So this is the PSBI breakout entry. When it trades, not when it closes, but if it trades above that color block, that's your entry point. And don't you think you would have liked to got in a lot earlier than have to wait the way most people do for these breakouts? This is the beauty of the PSBI. It will identify these in advance before conventional wisdom tells you where a breakout is. Works the same way on breakdowns as well. All right, remember we were going to sell on this so-called support, and then weeks later it was even higher than where we sold it? Well, if we were long this particular stock, and while it was rallying, all we had to do is click on the PSBI once again. In the drop-down menu, since we're long, we're interested in where the sell area would be, where we should get out. Click that on, and now we have this kind of reddish, pinkish color area. This is the PSBI breakdown area. Now, our entry is when price trades one tick below. And we display that level right here is 152.249 or 250, okay? Don't you think you would have liked to have got out of your stock right here as opposed to right here? This is the beauty of working with the PSBI. That's what we call it, the Primo secret breakout indicator, because it identifies these secret areas, which are the true breakout and breakdown areas. And as we look at this older chart of ILMN, okay, how could we have sold here and then bought down here? Well, just click on the PSBI and look what happened. Here's where the breakdown area was. You could have sold your long or gone short, bought some puts right here, held on this whole time short, and then covered, and then gone long way down here, all right? That's how simple it is applying this tool. Remember, we've taken the hard work out of it for you. There's nothing you have to stand in front of the chart and calculate on a tick-by-tick basis with your handheld computer and a spreadsheet. It's all done for you. All you have to do is decide whether you want to go long or short on these breakdowns. All right, so let's look at some recent PSBI examples. And remember, everything you're seeing today is auto-generated using the PTS Primo charting platform. This was designed to auto-identify these secret breakout areas. Now, one thing I want to tell you right here is, as I said before, I go to a lot of presentations myself. I like to listen and hear what everyone else is talking about. And many times I'll see this brand new strategy or brand new system or brand new tool, an indicator, and it has some phenomenal results. But then I'll look at the date and it's sometimes 6 months or a year ago, and basically what they're doing is what we call cherry picking. They're cherry picking the best setups. So, you can buy this. But oftentimes you'll have to sit there and wait for 6 months or a year before you see a really nice setup like this. Well, the following PSBI breakout breakdown signals I'm going to be sharing with you right now were all generated within the past month, roughly from beginning to mid-February to beginning to mid-March. Okay, so just to share with you that these setups are being generated all the time. Okay. Now, before we begin, I just want to have one apology. If you hear some slamming and some hammering, I apologize. The area above me, the roof above me, they're having some work done above my office. And so if you happen to hear some knocking sounds, that's simply they're doing work on the roof. That's directly above me for some reason. So I apologize. But don't worry, it means nothing's wrong with your recording. Okay, so let's start out. Let's look at this chart of Oracle, okay? This is in mid to end of February. Now, obviously, the stock's been in a downtrend. So let's say you're interested in purchasing this. You think it's going to have a bounce up. You've done your analysis, and you think this stock should be going higher, okay? Well, obviously, we're not going to want to sell it. We're going to want to look for a breakout to the upside. So we click on the PSBI Green Strategy tab. In the drop-down menu, since we're looking to buy, we click on the buy area. We see if the PSBI has generated any buy areas. And lo and behold, yes, it has. We have roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days we've been in a buy area. But remember, this doesn't mean that you simply buy because it's in a buy area. It could be in a buy area from a week to a month. I've seen it in there for months at a time, 2, 3 months. So what we want to do to be conservative is only buy once we trade above the high of that color block, okay? And we have the price here for you at 113.37, which is automatically generated. See, this is all done for you, so you don't have to worry about it and hand calculate it. Okay, so you say to yourself, all right, it's in the secret buy area, but I shouldn't buy now. Wait for it to trade. It doesn't have to close above there. It just has to trade above there. So we see now that on the very next bar, guess what? It not only closes above there, but it does trade. So that's your entry right here, the PSBI breakout entry. All right, now this happens so many times. So many people think the minute something breaks out or breaks down, it's going to go in that direction like crazy. Well, that may happen, but oftentimes you'll see this for a full week or so, nothing happens. But that's okay because we share with you multiple ways to place your stop to protect yourself. And any one of our several different stop placements would have had you still in this trade. You would have not been losing anything. And that's a good idea because look what happened a day later. It finally did break out. Now, it's funny how some news must have come out here on this day, but we had you in a full week and a half earlier, okay? It was a nice 15 points in about a week and a half. How about this example in X? Let's say you're long, okay, United States Steel, and you have a nice profit, but you have no idea where to get out. You're saying to yourself, gosh, I don't know where I should sell. Maybe I should sell a little bit. How do I protect myself? Well, this is where the PSBI comes in handy as well. Once again, just click it on. Since we're thinking about selling, we're not a buyer, then we click on the sell area to see if any sell areas have been generated. And once again, yes, they have been. We have the last 4 days have been in a sell area. As you can see, even though it was rising, it wasn't in a sell area, but not until the last 4 days. Now, does this mean we sell at the market? Well, you could if you wanted to, but remember, for all intents and purposes, we could be in a secret sell area for the next month or two. So you don't want to necessarily do that. You want a little bit more confirmation that it trades right here, which is 47.26, just below that. Now, on the very next bar, it does. And we close below there, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is that it traded below that. So that's our PSBI breakdown entry. And had you sold your position, well, guess what? You would have saved yourself 10 points because look what happened after that. This just happened just roughly about a little over a week ago. Let's look at PSTG, all right? Once again, let's say you're interested in buying this. You just don't know where to get in or how to get in. It's simple. Apply the PSBI. We see here that on the second day was in the color bar. That's where you could have entered. Once again, a couple of days, nothing really happened. But look what happened after that. Gapped up and continued going higher. This was the first week of March, just about 2 weeks ago. And that was 17 points in roughly a little over a week. How about DV? All right. This stock's been going up. So obviously, we're not interested in buying it. We're more interested in selling it. Let's say you're long. Well, you could have exited right here near the highs because a PSBI breakdown entry was generated. Now, nothing happened for the next couple of weeks. This is where a lot of traders say, hey, what's going on? I got out of my position and it's still going higher. But look what ultimately kicked in. You would have saved yourself 12 points, or if you went short, you could have made 12 points potentially being short. Here's an example in Dexcom, okay? Once again, this is kind of heading lower. So you're more interested in buying than selling. And look what happens. It takes off. Now, if you didn't use the PSBI, most traders at this point say, wow, I was interested in this, but it's kind of taken off. I'm not sure if I should buy it now, because so many times I'll buy it when it closes near the high, and then the next day it goes right back down. And then other times I won't buy it, and it'll keep going back up. So how would I have a higher level of confidence? Well, that's where the PSBI comes in. It'll give you the confidence to pull the trigger because it knew well in advance, a good week or so in advance, that it was in a breakout area. All you had to do was wait for it to break out above, and you didn't have to feel terrible about buying towards the high close, and you still potentially could have still captured 20 points. Works out the same way to the downside. If you're thinking about selling or going short, so many times you'll say, okay, if this thing starts to look heavy or starts to look weak, I'll get out. And then one day you see it close near the lows. You say, wow, should I sell here? I feel terrible selling near the lows. Maybe it'll bounce tomorrow and I'll get back in tomorrow. I'll get back out, I should say. Well, this is where the PSBI can help you, because if you had applied that earlier, well, it would have told you a couple of days in advance that it was in a sell area, that you should be very careful because most likely it was going to break down soon, and it sure did. You could have gotten in well ahead of the downward close and taken advantage of a 35-point gain to the downside. Now, that's if you had gone short. Potentially, you could have captured 35 points. If you were exiting a position, well, potentially you could have saved yourself 35 points. Let's look at AVAV. Once again, the same concept applies. It just traded right above there on this day. This was just the first week of February, just a month ago. 60 points coming into the first week of March. As we look at workday, the same approach happens here. Now, here's what happens so many times. This is why we say we're trying to educate you and give you this information, but ultimately it's up to you to make the decision. Now, here, the conservative way to apply the PSBI is to sell once it trades one tick below. But look what happened. It opened on the low, rallied, but then closed lower. So if you had used this to sell, you most likely would have sold on the low of the day. So it's up to you whether you want to get into a trade that's gapped up or gapped down. But look what happened. Even if you had gotten in on the very opening to go short, you still could have captured 30 points in the next week. That's how powerful the PSBI is. Here's a PSBI breakout entry in Harmony, HMY, okay? It was in the green color block for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It wasn't until this day, which was at the last day of February, just about 3 weeks ago, that it traded above the breakout area. But that's okay. That could have been your long entry. So you're long from the very beginning of March, and you could have made 2.5 points. Now, someone say 2.5 points, Steve. That's not a lot. Well, remember, this was a $5 stock, okay? So think of it. 2.5 points in a $5 stock, that's basically a 50% gain in just 2 weeks. Now remember, we just looked at Tesla a few seconds ago. What if you had made 50%? What if Tesla had gained 50% of its value in just 2 weeks? Or what if Google had gained 50% of its value in 2 weeks? So it's all relative here. If you're trading a $5 stock, this gives you the opportunity to buy multiple shares. You could have bought thousands and thousands of shares and had a really nice profit. It's up to you. So you can apply this to inexpensive stocks. It makes no difference. Or you can apply it to expensive stocks, like a $500 stock like IDXX. Same principle applies. It traded just below this breakdown entry, and look what happened. It closed back up again. So is this a valid setup? Sure it is. All we require is that it trades below there. And look what happened. 40 points coming into last week, okay? This is an actual trade that just happened that many of our students could have taken to go short. You could have bought puts, or if you were long the stock, this would have been a great place to exit. You could have saved yourself potentially 40 points. All right, so let's go through the whole process, okay? Really quickly. Let's look at WSM, Williams-Sonoma. All right, obviously the stock's been going higher, but let's say you're a candlestick trader and you say to yourself, wow, this is a bearish engulfing pattern. So now it looks like the trend's going to go lower. So maybe you use that to get out, or maybe you don't, but the stock does go down. But you're still not convinced this is the beginning of a strong downward move. You like the market, you're interested. So you say to yourself, you know what? I want to buy this. I want to buy more of this. So here's how the PSBI can come in handy. Click it on our platform right here. And in the drop-down menu, click on Buy Area. See if one has been generated. Sometimes there's nothing being generated, but other times you will see that it is. And in this case, the last 2 days, the first week of February, it was in a secret buy area. Now, does this mean just to buy at the market? No. What we want you to do is wait for it to trade one tick above 201.70. That will be a more conservative way to enter. That will be your breakout. And someone would say, but yes, Steve, this is not based on any support and resistance. That's true. The PSBI is not based on support and resistance at all. It's not based on Fibonacci. It's not based on volume. It's not based on any of those things that I have found in 47 years really don't have high levels of consistency. It's based on market behavior. So let's see what happened. Well, the next day it did trade there. So that would have been your entry if you decided you wanted to buy more. That's your PSBI breakout entry. And once again, look what happened. Coming into last week, the stock was up 90 points. Now, here's the way most traders would trade. They would say, well, okay, I'm going to wait for this thing to break out. They're finally convinced that it's broken out right here. And even though you did have some type of a nice profit, wouldn't you much rather have bought down here as opposed to somewhere up here? That's how the PSBI can help you. Now, we've looked mainly at stocks. Let's look at some more stocks, but some other time frames, and then we'll look at some other markets, okay? Because we know not everyone just trades daily bars of stocks. Let's say you're more of a swing trader or an investor. Well, if you're an investor, let's say you're long UA, all right, Under Armour, and you've got a nice profit. You bought this in the low figures, and you've got a nice profit. Maybe you've made 50%, maybe you've made even more, 100%, and you want to lock in some profits, or you just want to protect your profits. That's where the PSBI can help you, even if you're an investor, not a trader. Do the same process, click it on, and you'll see that, yes, here we have a breakdown area, a secret breakdown area. It traded just below, and that would have been your exit point. You could have sold your shares there or partially some of your shares and save yourself 10 points because the price fell 60% in just the next, it wasn't 2 weeks, it was more like 2 months, okay? Or excuse me, more like 6 months. How about this? Here's a weekly chart of Netflix, okay? For swing traders. Same process applies. Just because we're trading a different time frame doesn't mean we have to change anything. All right, let's say you're more inclined to buy this than to sell this. Well, then you click on the PSBI and look for a breakout entry area, and there is one right here. So last year, you could have purchased this in October, and coming into this past month, guess what? Potentially, you could have captured 225 points. Not by looking at any earnings, not by looking and following any economic indicators, not by seeing what's going on globally or listening to some guy in a chat room. Remember, our job as an educator is to put the power back in your hands so that you don't have to rely on anyone or anything else. You should be making your own trading decisions. In my 47 years of trading, the only traders that are still trading that are consistent are the ones that make their own trading decisions. None of them go to chat rooms or trading rooms to find out what to buy or sell. None of them have signal services. None of them listen to the gurus on TV or in webinars. None of them, apply any of the conventional wisdom that tells them what to buy or sell. They have their own plan in place, and then they simply follow it, and they make their own decisions. They don't wait for someone or something to tell them. I mean, think of it. If you were an airline pilot, would you broadcast before you took off? Would you broadcast to your all the passengers and say, hey, I'd like to take a poll. How do you passengers think I should fly this today? How do you think I should land today when we get to our destination? I mean, that would be absurd, right? Or if you were a brain surgeon, would you ask your patient or would you ask the nurses helping you, hey, how do you think I should operate today? What do you think is the best way to do that, right? But for some reason, it's okay, it's justified for traders to ask someone, hey, what do you think of this stock? What do you think I should buy? What do you think I should sell? It's no different. You should never ask anyone what they think. You should ask someone to help you learn the way we're helping you, but never rely on anyone to tell you what to buy or sell. It's your own hard-earned money. You should have a plan in place that you get from a mentor that helps you, that stays with you every step of the way to construct the plan, and then you should rely on your own decisions, not theirs. This is the cornerstone behind our education at Specialist Trading. Now, lastly, let's look at some currency pairs, okay? We have a 4-hour chart of the Canadian dollar. This was just last week, okay? A PSBI breakout was generated right here. You could have made roughly 70 pips in one day. That's potentially $700. Now, if you like to trade daily bars, well, here's a daily chart of the dollar yen, okay? A breakdown entry was generated right here at the end of February, just about a month ago. And look what happened. 350 pips to the downside in just a little over a week. That's upwards of $3,500 potentially you could have captured. So we've shown you daily bars of stocks. We've shown you weekly and monthly bars of stocks. We've shown you 4-hour and daily bars of currency pairs. Makes no difference what market or what time frame you apply the PSBI to. All right, let's review what we taught you today. The PSBI is based on everyone out of the pool. In other words, it's not based off support and resistance or conventional wisdom that really has no levels of consistency. It's based on market behavior using some proprietary tools that tell us when the buyers are out of the pool. That will tell you when, most likely, when a breakdown is about to appear, or when the sellers are out of the pool, will tell you most likely when a breakout is about to appear. It's designed to identify these true breakout areas, not based on conventional wisdom. It's a proprietary indicator. We've taken all the hard work out of it for you and developed these color bar secret areas that identify where these breakout and breakdown zones are. You can apply it to virtually any market, any direction, and any time frame, as you just saw. It can be used as an exit tool to get out of a long position or as a stop and reverse tool. You go long, and then you simply wait for the breakdown to exit, okay? And lastly, you can scan for this on a nightly basis. So you don't have to search through thousands of stocks the way I used to when I was first trading on the floor and go through millions of charts. You can just scan, and in a matter of minutes, I'd say less than a minute or two, you'll see a full list of cryptocurrency pairs, ETFs, market indices, where you can find out where the best setups are, okay? So ask yourself, after seeing this class today, do you think the new PSBI can help your trading for the remainder of 2024? I think your answer is obviously yes. So because of that, and because of you all taking the time out of your day to watch this presentation, we have a special attendee offer. We're going to offer you our new PSBI tool. That's our Primo Secret Breakout Indicator. And you're going to get this non-conventional breakout tool with instant access. It generates many setups you can apply to breakouts and breakdowns, any market, any time frame. Also applies a stop loss method, and you're going to be able to scan for daily setups. Now, everything you saw today was displayed using the PTS Primo charting platform. We developed it to make trading simple. But remember, you can't use this unless you have the platform. Now, normally, a full year of this would cost you close to $1,800. Here's an extra bonus we're going to include. Okay, we're not going to charge you $1,800 for this. We're going to throw in a full year absolutely free. So if you become a member of the PSBI course, you'll also get our platform for a full year. That's an $1,800 value, absolutely free. Now, one of the best things about this offer is that you're not only going to get the PSBI, but you're also going to get upwards of nearly 5 decades of different techniques, methods, and different trading tools that I've accumulated that are also on the platform, things that you won't find anywhere else that I've taken in my 47 years of trading. Things like the enhanced buy-sell line. That's a different way to find out what the overall trend is. A strength of trend tool telling you if a trend is running out of steam or there's still a lot of room left in it. As we said earlier, our signal scanner where you can scan for these on a nightly basis, plus auto-generated signals, okay? Now, here's one of the best things about the platform. We didn't talk about it all today. You're also going to get the PSBI price projection. This is only found on the platform, and let me share with you some examples of how it works. All right, here's an older example in DDOG. All right, we have a secret breakdown area here. We haven't sold yet, so we're thinking about it. Maybe we want to buy some puts, or maybe we're long the stock. Either way, we want to sell this, but we won't sell until it breaks down here. But we're thinking, well, is it worth selling? Because how low will this go? Well, here's one of the extra added tools we have. Once again, click on the PSBI, and instead of clicking on breakdown area, what you want to click on is sell PP. That's the price projection, okay? And what you'll see is a projection, and this is once again using a formula, an algorithm telling you most likely where price should go. That doesn't mean that it's going to stop there. It could stop there. It could go lower, but most likely there's a high probability price will at least get to this price projection area. So that meets your need. So you say to yourself, you know what, I'll either exit. I don't want to be long if it's going to go to that level, or maybe you'll short the stock. Look what happened. It broke down. You could have gotten in short, went right to the price projection, and look what happened after that. Went straight up. This works the other way as well. Let's look at an example in KLAC. All right, here's a breakout right here. How far do you think it can go? Well, once again, I apologize for all the noise that's being done on my roof right now. Okay, the PSBI, click that on. Click on buy price projection. And it will show you automatically where this, most likely according to this algorithm, where price should go. And you say to yourself, well, that's pretty good. I think I'll take advantage of that. So once it does break out, you're long. Price gets there in a matter of days. And look what happened after that. Immediately went lower. So this is included. In fact, you'll only find the PSBI price projection on the PTS Primo charting platform. So this is an extra bonus we're throwing in as well. All right, so let's break it down. You're going to get all of this plus a full year of the platform, plus the bonus price projection points. Now, normally, the PSBI, it's one of our most popular tools, would cost close to $5,000. We're going to initially discount that, roughly 10%. You're going to save $500, and we'll drop it down to $44.95. But we still know that that may be still too expensive for some people. So for a limited time, we are offering payment plans. That means you won't have to come up with $44.95. In fact, for a fraction of that cost, a very tiny fraction, you can still be up and running as long as you establish a payment plan, and you can be up and running as early as today. So there's two different ways to become a student of mine and get on board with a PSBI breakout indicator. You can either pay the discount price of $44.95, or you can establish a payment plan with Pro Trader Strategies. Trust me, just a small fraction of that price. Establish a monthly payment plan, and you'll be up and running as early as today. And regardless of which way you'd like to come on board, you'll still get that full 12-month free platform included with your purchase. A year from today, you will have wished you became a member of the PSBI course. Why? Well, it's because that's what our students are telling us. They tell us that this is a great tool that's really helped them, and that it's so simple to apply and to use. And they're so glad they've had it. And we've had this roughly just for about a year now. So that's still fairly new. So come on board. I'll be there with you every step of the way, working with you to help you define your own trading plan and how to apply the PSBI. All right, here's how to take advantage of this great offer today. Contact my sister site, which is Pro Trader Strategies. They are in charge of all the discounts. If you'd like to establish a payment plan, they can do that with you over the phone, or they can just answer any question concerning pricing. I would highly recommend giving them a call at this phone number right now, 310-598-6677. There's absolutely no obligation. They're not going to try and force sell you anything if you're not wanting to do something right away. They can still answer any pricing questions, give you a quote, and you can think about it. Okay. Now, that link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you to the info page as well as the sign up page if you'd like to sign up online. Okay. It's not a live link, but they've just listed if you look on the webinar chat box, I just opened it up. There is a live link that was posted there, and you can click that on and it will automatically open up the browser. Now, I'm going to leave all this information up for you to copy down. Remember, there's no obligation for you to purchase today. You can simply wait for the video and watch over and over again. But remember, this is a limited time offer. So take advantage of it in the next week or so if you're really serious about coming on board with this brand new course, okay? Now, I promised I would take questions at the end. So if you do have questions, now is the time to ask. Just simply go to your question and answer box I see there in the Zoom little icon page, or hit chat box, whatever one, and I will answer the questions, okay? Someone is asking, can we trade them both simultaneously? Yes, that's what we meant by stop and reverse. So in other words, let's say you have a stock that's been going down, all right? So you want to be obviously a buyer, right? So you would click on the PSBI and click on the buy area and wait until you see the green box appear. Now, sometimes, according to the calculations, it's not telling you that there's a breakout area, that all the buyers are not out of the pool yet, according to the algorithm. So nothing may not appear. But if you continue to be diligent and wait over a couple of days, maybe you see, yes, something did appear. So that means that you will buy once it trades above. Let's say you bought and it goes up, it continues to go up for a couple of weeks, you got a nice profit, you haven't sold yet. You can now apply a PSBI sell area to see if a sell area is appearing, and you can use that to exit. And you can just simply go back and forth trading that way. A lot of our students like to trade that way. They just simply buy when there's a PSBI buy area, and they sell their long and go short, or maybe just sell altogether when there's a sell area, and they wait for the next buy area to be generated. It's simple. You can that's just one of the many different ways to do that, okay? Let's see, someone is asking, do you go over and tell us how to enter, exit, and place stop? Yes, in our courses, we have different ways in which to enter. Now, what I shared with you today was the standard conventional way in which to enter. We have different ways to enter. We have another more aggressive way to enter. We have conservative ways to enter. And we also have upwards of 6 or 7 different stop placements. So we know that a lot of people are very risk, knowledgeable, and they don't want to take a lot of risk into account, or maybe they do want to take a lot of risk into account because everyone trades differently. So because of that, we have upwards of 6 or 7 different stop placements, as well as exit points. That includes the price projection. That also includes some other exit points that we go over in the course. So there's lots of ways to trade it. Remember, our job as a mentor is to provide you with this information so that you can make your own decision, okay? Someone's asking, can you use this on the ES or RTY on a 1-minute chart? Sure. I use this myself. I intraday trade the futures, and I use this on intraday trading of the E-mini futures. But just remember, as we tell anyone, with any strategy, with any system, with any indicator, there's always going to be a lot more risk for whipsaws the smaller time frame. So if you go to tick charts with this, or a 1-minute chart, you may get some false starts. That's just the nature of any method. Okay, the higher the time frame, such as a daily, weekly, even monthly, you'll get less whipsaws or less back and forth, because it's a slower moving boat. But just know that. And it doesn't even have to be the PSBI. It could be a system or something that you're trading currently. The smaller the time frame, the more the risk is of having whipsaws. So that's why we don't encourage a lot to be going. I would say I wouldn't want traders to go less than 5 minutes. Although you can trade it on 1 minute. I've traded it on 2 or 3 minute bars, but it's up to you, okay? We always require that all of our students paper trade first. But the PSBI can be applied to any market, any time frame, and any direction, okay? Let's see. Oh, here we have the most common question I get. What happens if I'm having trouble? How do I contact you? Each and every one of my students gets my private, and I mean private, email address. This means that you can email me whenever you like, on the weekend, before the opening, after the close, during the day. It makes no difference. If you have a question, something doesn't make sense, or you want to know my advice on how to trade something according to the rules of the PSBI, I can always be there to help you. And this does not go to an intern. It doesn't go to a salesperson. It comes directly to me, so no one else will see your question, okay? So this is the next best thing to having me sit right next to you. Even though we have students all around the world in over 115 countries, there's no way I could do that, but this is the next best thing. Okay, so you can email me whenever you like. I was answering emails before this presentation. Most likely I'll be answering emails right after. So you always have contact with me. I'll be there with you every step of the way. Okay? Good questions. Just remember, the PSBI is fairly new. I use it. It's a great, great tool. I really can't stress enough how popular it is now amongst our students. If you go to our Twitter page, I would recommend going there. I posted some more examples of it recently. Remember just to follow us on Twitter. This is also being live streamed on YouTube. So please, if you're new to YouTube or you're watching us on YouTube, please like us there. So we'll give you a lot more of these YouTube live stream presentations as well. Okay, if there are no further questions, I think we're at the end of the presentation right now. Plus, I think my roof may be coming in on me, so I don't want to hear much more banging on this than you have to. So as we take one last look at our disclaimer, just let me say thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday. I know you could be watching the market or having other important things to do. I really appreciate it. But more importantly, I really tried to teach you something today and show you how simple it is to increase your odds for consistency using the PSBI. It's a great tool. You can get in at a really, really low price if you want to establish a payment plan. So contact Pro Trader Strategies. I'll go back and reverse one last time. That's their phone number there, 310-598-6677. There's absolutely no obligation, and they can answer any question about pricing, okay? So as we take one last look at our disclaimer, thanks again for joining us today. I hope you learned something, but most especially, I look forward to all of you attending my PSBI course. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.